Hello, welcome to Women Baking Big Sales. We're here to help business owners, service providers, consultants get more corporate clients and close those 5, 6 figure deals. My name is Melinda. I'm the founder of the company. Today, we're going to be talking about, am I too expensive? I was talking to a consultant this week, and she was talking to me about her pricing. It's such a personal topic, and it's such a delicate topic at the same time. You don't want to be too expensive and not getting the sale you want, not being competitive enough. At the same time, you also want to maximize profit. You don't want to be considered the cheaper alternative or get into attracting the wrong kind of clients. So how do I price properly, especially when it comes to corporate clients? It can be quite a confusing and overwhelming process. So I thought when I was planning for this week's episode, I thought I might as well talk about how do you price your service to attract more corporate clients. The way I see it, and I think there are many different ways of pricing your service. I see it as a more holistic approach that there is no perfect answer. So before I get down to a few different strategies and techniques you can use to price your service or your product, I also want to let you know that, first of all, it is a choice, your own choice. And once you make that choice, always remember it is a learning opportunity. Especially when you're just starting and trying to get into corporate or business clients, it is okay to not get it correct perfectly. The last thing we want is having that analysis paralysis of keep analyzing it and being too afraid of providing your pricing. Providing pricing at the right timing is extremely important. If your potential client is asking for a pricing and you have trouble providing it, that could show the client that you are not confident enough to present your offer. So when you have a potential client and they're asking for a service, then you have to provide an answer to them. I mean, we can talk about different strategy when it comes to providing sales, like pricing negotiation strategies that you can use to encourage conversations and maximize your closing rate. But we can talk about that next time. Today, we're talking about what kind of analysis and strategies you can use to make sure that you're pricing at the perfect level that maximize your profit, but at the same time competitive enough to make sure that you actually get the sales. So first of all, just remind yourself that you have to be okay to learn and grow, especially when you're just starting. Make a decision, and once you make that decision, just learn that if it's not the perfect decision, it is okay. It is a learning experience. Okay. And then there are different ways of doing it. There's no perfect answer. I've coached many women, and a lot of women, they all have different strategies and or principles, like, or theories or technique they use to price their service. There is no perfect answer, and also it depends on your industry. Don't worry, I'm still going to talk about some strategies you can use, but I still want to let you know there is no perfect answer because it really depends on how big you are, how many years you've been in the industry. I mean, if you're just starting and maybe you want to price it more competitively so that you can get your foot in the market. If you've been in the industry for a long time, you have a very strong reputation, maybe you have more leverage to price higher to maximize your profit. So partially it also depends on you, and it also depends on the industry. How competitive is this industry? If it's a very, very competitive industry and you're really trying to get in, yeah, you might have to be more competitive. But if it's very difficult to find somebody doing the thing you do, then you have more leverage to price higher. And also, you also have to want to consider that your relationship with your potential client. If you are just starting and you don't have a lot of leverage or a lot of relationship with this potential client, this might be an opportunity to price more competitively to get your foot in the door. Over and over again, I see our women that I support getting into big client, starting with a small deal. I started with a small deal with my client as well. So we are targeting for 5, 6 deal figure, but it is okay for you to start a contract or service with 5,000, 10,000, 15,000, depending on the service you offer. Starting with a small deal, knowing that this is going to allow you to get your foot in the door. And if a client is happy with your service, then you start building relationship and eventually reaching 6-figure deals. Some of my most successful deals always started with a small deal because the client also wants to test their water. They want to test what it's like working with you. So if you're just starting your relationship with a client and you really want to take this opportunity to get your foot in the door, pricing competitively could be a strategy. If you have been with a client for a long time and you think that the client has been very, very satisfied with your service, it is okay to have to talk to your client and letting them know that things are getting more expensive these days and I might have to increase my price. And let's talk about the ways to kind of slowly increase my price without impacting the client in short too suddenly. I am all about opening the conversations with our client. We have to stop seeing our relationship with our client as a vendor or a buyer-seller relationship. When you have a buyer-seller relationship, you're on different sides, different sides of the spectrum. But what we want to create is being on the same side as our client, working together as a team towards a common goal. So always open up that conversation and letting your potential client, your prospects, or your existing clients know that we can talk about this. If you are not 100% happy, let's talk about it. Let's find a common path to creating so that we can achieve our common goal. I am all about communication and working with my client as a team. I'm not here to win. I'm here to create a win-win situation. If you know me long enough, you know this is what I truly believe in. Sales is not about taking money from my potential client. Sales is being the partner of my client and achieving the goal together and creating win-win situations. So we're together on the same team as our client. So even though we're talking about same team, you still need to charge fairly so that you can continue to do things you love and being compensated. If we charge too low, then we have trouble creating a sustainable, successful company. Then we cannot help more people. So a lot of times when we're talking about pricing, the first thing you also need to recognize is your mindset about money, the money mindset that you need to address. Sometimes, especially maybe it's women or maybe it's something we're starting, or it could be men and women. It doesn't really matter, but sometimes when we're just starting, when we're just trying to get into the market, we get insecure about this money thing. And I've heard a lot of entrepreneurs talking about, hey, I just want to help people. I hate taking money from others. Just remember your relationship with money. Money equals freedom. Money allows you to do more things you like and allows you to help more people. By having money, you are able to create an abundance and successful life, and successful business so that you can go and help more people. So if you feel like you have trouble with this mindset, I welcome you to just write it down. Just ask yourself, what is my relationship with money? How do I see money right now? Do you see it as a way of taking things from other people? Or do you have a healthy relationship with money where money equals opportunity to create more abundance, opportunity to help other people, opportunity to take care of people? Ask yourself where your relationship is when it comes to money, and always remind yourself, always have that positive affirmation when it comes to money. If you feel like you have a negative connotation about sales, about money, try to replace it, understanding it, recognize that negative connotation, and replace it with something positive. Remind yourself that money is the opportunity for you to use it to take care of more people. I believe I use the money to take care of my family, and that is what money represents. Money allows me to, invest in other things of my dream, invest in my dreams, invest in my company, and help more people. And that is how I see money. So ask yourself, what is your relationship with money? When it comes to pricing, to how to set up pricing, there are few techniques out there. So how I see it, and I think I mentioned it at the beginning of this episode, that I see it more holistically. So what I do is that I would use different strategies to create different pricing mindset, pricing levels. And once I create different price levels, I look at it and then I use a more holistic approach and looking at these calculations and say, which one do I feel comfortable choosing? A lot of times we talk about having positive mindset, we talk about confidence. Confidence is partially mind, and comes with partially your mindset, but it also comes with experience, right? So if you're still new and you're uncertain, it is okay to make mistakes. There's no perfect answer to begin with. I've said it so many times, and I hope you guys understand that we're not here to be perfect. We're here to just do it. I've made so many mistakes, but without making those mistakes, I never learned anything. There is in life, there's nothing, there's no perfect answer. Because if there was a perfect answer, you probably get it by Googling it. So when it comes to the gray zones, things that does not have a perfect answer, just recognize that, hey, I'm going to make a decision, what my heart tells me, and I'm going to make that decision. I'm going to move on with it. So I usually use a few techniques out there to help me determine the basic price level. The first thing is the cost breakdown. So if am preparing a package or designing a package to present to a corporate client, I'm going to write down the exact cost breakdown of how it will cost me to achieve this goal. So for example, if you're designing a 1-day intensive retreat for a corporate client, then start writing down how much it costs when it comes to renting the location, if you have to pay for the location, and how much time it costs for you in terms of administration. And again, we also have a resource on our website about how to price and package your service. So if you want to get the detailed Excel sheet of cost breakdown, I love the actual numbers analysis, go to our website, womenmakingbig.com, and look for resources. And there should be one resource that allows you to learn how to price and package your service to make it irresistible to your corporate clients, to make it sound confident and competitive so that you'll be able to get more of those of 5-6 figure deals. So, and you also get the Excel sheet of how to do that cost breakdown. As a general theory is that technique is basically you write down all the costs that would incur for you to achieve this goal. Part of the cost, you might be asking me, part of the cost would obviously be your cost, the cost to you. How much do you charge per hour, right? So you have to decide how much you want to charge as your hourly rate to you. And so when it comes to deliver this service, and inside our resource, I also share the average consultant hourly rate that people charge. Again, this is really very much dependent on the industry and your experience and the service you offer. But I present a general kind of a scale when it comes to the hourly rate. So write down location costs, transportation costs, hotel costs, accommodations, printing out materials, writing down everything you have, and you have a cost breakdown. And then at the end of the cost breakdown, you can also write a profit margin. How much you want to, in terms of margin, percentage you want to get after the cost. What is the percentage profit, pure profit you want to receive from this package? It could range from 10%, 20%. You have to decide a little bit how much you want to do it. But again, if you notice that I am using it as a very fluid kind of thing, because how much in terms of profit you want to do, it will be an exercise that is constantly improving and constantly changing. Play around with a number, and afterwards, don't worry, after at the end of this episode, I'm also going to share with you the holistic approach when you're looking at this number. So the first technique, you write it down. What is your cost breakdown? And maybe at the end of it, write down the profit margin you want to achieve from this package. And the second technique you want to look at is a competitive analysis. So look around, ask your potential clients, ask your colleagues. If you are a consultant or service provider, ask your clients or people you work with before. A lot of times you probably have connections in the corporate world and they've hired similar service. And ask them, how much do you usually charge? How much do my competitors usually charge for similar service? Or how much you usually pay for a similar service? So you have to do that competitive analysis, because even though your cost breakdown, it's possible that you're trying to be very conservative, and you look at it and my cost breakdown, it only costs $5,000 to deliver this, and then the competitors, they're charging $20,000. Then instantly you're starting to see a little bit of that profit margin of how much you could potentially charge for the same service. Or you might be saying, okay, my $5,000 is for me to deliver their service, and you're looking at your competitors and they're charging $5,700 to deliver the service. You might need to analyze your cost, right? Maybe your cost is a little bit too high, and you probably have to cut costs somewhere, make it more efficient. So having a competitive analysis is really, really powerful for you to really understand, hey, is my cost breakdown analysis good enough? So that's a second technique. The third technique is also understanding what is the monetary value I am generating for my client. And again, this is back to a little bit of holistic approach. If you are, for example, salesperson like me, what is the value I'm generating for my client or for my company? It's very straightforward. When I get the sales, I know how much I'm generating. But if you're a service provider or even just consultant, sometimes it may be difficult to evaluate how much you're generating for your client. If you're a leadership coach, sometimes it may be difficult to analyze it or to come up with a number. But I encourage you to try your best to come up with a number to estimate in terms of the productivity of a CEO. I'm able to help you create become more productive, or create certain strategy that's being the fundamentals to achieving the sales goal. Go ask your current client, how much value do you think I am generating for you? And I encourage you to write that down, because having that number is also provides you with a foundation in terms of what is your value, what is the value you're providing. And again, the reason why we're trying different techniques is I want you to be able to compare this number at the end of the day to come up with that optimal number for you. So I encourage you, go ask your client or ask potential client, hey, if I am able to achieve the goals, to achieve this project with you, how much do you think, what is the monetary value I am able to generate for you? So ask your potential client or ask your existing client, and it will be a very useful exercise. Okay, so we talked about cost breakdown, actually listing all the costs it would take you, including your own hourly rate or maybe your assistant's hourly rate to achieving this project, right? The second thing is competitive analysis, looking at the competitions and how much they charge. And then also how much value I am generating for my client. The last one, a lot of times people call it the value added analysis. If you're in a certain luxury, more high end kind of industry, you also want to ask yourself, how much is my client willing to pay for this service? And this often is the analysis or strategy people use when it comes to more luxury item. A simple example is, we know a handbag. You could have handbag and do the cost analysis of how much it costs to make a handbag. But at the same time, certain client is willing to pay 5 figures or all the way to 6 figures for a handbag because they will pay for it. And that is a little bit that value added analysis. So you can also ask yourself, if you offer a more luxury high-end service, ask yourself, how much is my client willing to pay for my service? And that kind of analysis can also help you, give you another number to look at when you're comparing all the numbers, right? So now I've talked about 4 different techniques to analyze your number. I want you to write them down: cost breakdown, competitive analysis, my value generations, and value added. Put them 4 numbers and put them out there. 4, and then really ask yourself, what is my comfort level? What is the number that I feel comfortable presenting to my client? And that is a number that I encourage you to kind of follow your gut, because sometimes I've seen a lot of people out there say you got to charge high, and which I agree, you got to maximize your value. But when you're presenting this to the client, do you feel confident or do you feel nervous? I'd rather you presenting something to your client with confidence and with a lot of comfort and feel comfortable with the number than presenting the highest number possible, but constantly doubt yourself and constantly wondering whether you're doing the right thing and feel very insecure. I'd rather that you start with something and feeling confidence and closing that deal than presenting something really high, but because you're not feeling connected to this number and losing that deal in the end. So look at those numbers and ask yourself, what is the number I feel comfortable providing and giving? And that will be the perfect number for you. Remember, this is a constant work in progress. And also remember that you can ask your colleagues. If you have an amazing community of people supporting you, you can ask for feedback. I am thinking of charging this. What do you think? And for anybody who knows our company, Women Making Big Sales, we also have our membership where all the women, we gather together and we talk about pricing, we support each other, we provide feedback. So if you're interested in being part of this a group of ambitious women going after big ticket sales, well, check out our website, our membership site, program, where we have a group of exact women just like you who go after big companies and corporates, and we know about pricing and we support each other when it comes to giving feedback of your price level. So do check that out if it's something that you think might benefit your business. That is it. Just remember, it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to go out there and try something. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to do it. And I hope that this episode gives you inspiration to go out and put out more numbers, look at your service, and to see, can I maximize my profit and at the same time be more competitive? I would love to hear how it goes. Maybe you are able to increase your service, increase your profit margin, at the same time continue to build great relationship with your clients. All right, that's it for today's episode. I look forward to talking to you next time. And just remember, we sell better together. See you next time.